Thank you, Christopher. And now in other news. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says targeted investments in education and the nation's youth can potentially curtail crime and violence in Jamaica over the long term. Against this background, Dr. Chang said his ministry will be focusing resources on children at the primary school level and their families as a preemptive measure to curb crime, particularly murder.
Investment in the school is maybe is one of the most important, in fact, is that the most important element in long-term solution to our crime problem. My intention, I've discussed with my Chief Technical Officer, I did recognize earlier, Ms. Shauna Charles, Chief Technical Officer of the Ministry of National Security, and accompanied by other members of the team, is to begin to look not at case management, but at family management. And the easiest way to access the family is through the mother's clinic and the schools. Because once you identify at this level, you can begin to identify the problem in the family and hope we can resolve them with other means. This is one mechanism, but it's to get the services that the public services that were designed to assist the people, which they're not getting. Education, quality health care, the small but still important social safety net government provides. Issues that can be directed at those who are really in need.
He was speaking at the launch of the United States Agency for International Development's USAID FHI 360-degree emergency response program at the Flanker Primary and Junior High School in St. James on Friday. Under the program, tablet and laptop computers were distributed to the Flanker Resource Center, Flanker New Testament Church, and the Flanker Seventh-day Adventist Church to build the capacity of the community-based organizations to support students in accessing education virtually. Dr. Chang said the government will continue to partner with organizations such as USAID to bring about sustainable, impactful change to the most at-risk communities in Jamaica.
Young males feel that they have no stake in society, and from primary school, they are channeled in a route that takes them in the wrong direction. This government is committed to bringing transformative changes to these vulnerable communities and work with the community and the direct agencies to work with them to provide the services and the opportunity that is required to bring truth and long-term change. That is the reality of it. And without going to the details, our commitment is to provide the kind of transformative investment that will stop this process. So we start from the early ages into the teenage group that is most severely affected between 14 and 30. But we recognize we have to begin to provide the community with quality service. That's been my call for many years.
And for her part, Director of USAID's Office of Citizen Security, Shannon Stone, said the U.S. government remains committed to bolstering Jamaica's coronavirus COVID-19 response, particularly in building the resilience of marginalized communities and institutions by strengthening them to better respond to the needs of the most vulnerable citizens.
The U.S. government remains committed to bolstering Jamaica's COVID-19 response, particularly in building the resilience of vulnerable communities and institutions by strengthening them to better respond to the needs of vulnerable populations. This assistance today builds upon the U.S. government's assistance to Jamaica of nearly $619 million US dollars over the past 20 years. The resources we are handling over today is part of the more than 600 million Jamaican dollars that the USAID has provided to Jamaica to counter COVID-19. COVID-19 has created devastating effects across the globe, not only affecting our health, but affecting our social and economic welfare. Recognizing these challenges that Jamaica is facing, USAID has responded to the call and is ready to help the people of Jamaica. Our support in addressing the indirect impacts of the outbreak on vulnerable communities and population that includes the provision of social welfare, psychosocial first aid, the restoration of livelihoods, and building community resilience like we're doing here today. Today's donation is not only to support the support we are providing to the flunker community. We will help 125 families have access to food and sanitation items, and in December 2020, we provided 60 students from the Flanker Primary School with school supplies. This support of technological devices and internet connectivity of the three organizations today has a combined value of 1 million Jamaican dollars and will contribute to improving access to distance learning for vulnerable students.
Principal at the Flanker Primary and Junior High School, Miss Colette Barnes, for her part, commended the students of the school while pointing out that with these donations, the students are improving in their studies.
Since last January when I took post as principal, I tell you that these students are something else. They are amazing. And I'm here to tell you that the stigma that surrounds this community is totally wrong. Because what I saw when I came here are students who are willing to learn, who are eager to learn. So can you imagine my disappointment when I was told we have to go home? Immediately, I panicked, I must say, because I know of the community that we are in, that the technology is not in every household. But definitely, being an innovator, I reached out to my member of parliament. I reached out to my different stakeholders, and I'm telling you that USAID, local partners jumped on board. And believe me, we've been issuing the tablets, and the students are online learning. When I spoke with my teachers, I was informed that boys and girls are improving right in their living rooms. Learning is taking place. So I am happy, happy, happy today. And I say to you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Still in the news, the education sector is said to have been the biggest beneficiary of interventions implemented under the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF Basic Needs Trust Fund, BNFTP program. The program, now in its 9th cycle, is financed by the Caribbean Development Bank. It covers 5 target areas, namely education and human resource, development access and drainage, water and sanitation systems, health and livelihood enhancement. Speaking recently, JSIF Managing Director Omar Sweeney said the investment in education accounts for the majority of the resources deployed through the BNTF. He explained that the work involved expanding a number of schools to remove the school shift system, as well as making sure classrooms have proper ventilation. He further pointed out that under BNTF, 9 more than 48 classrooms were constructed, which gives an idea in just one cycle the type of investment that they are making in terms of the physical infrastructure. Meanwhile, BNTF project manager Dainty Ann Barrett Smith said that in addition to investments in the physical infrastructure, they have also worked with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information to find out what are the gaps within the sector that they would want to support. Mrs. Barrett Smith also informed that teachers received a training in water sanitation and hygiene, WASH. This investment, she said, was bolstered in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, she said the schools will also be getting chemicals, hand sanitizers, thermometers, among other items to bolster their capacity to operate when they return to face-to-face school full-time. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning into Mello TV Evening News at 8. Stay safe. I am Tamar McHale, wishing you pleasant viewing.